Hello traders, my name is Gregor Horat and welcome to a new free video outlook in which we will take a look at some major pairs, some major markets: euro dollar, dollar index, cable, Aussie crude oil, and also Bitcoin. So on euro dollar, as you know, a lot of traders have been calling for a top here 2 weeks back or 3 weeks back, but I have been warning that this wave 4 bounce is still incomplete. I was tracking, and I'm still tracking actually, a flat correction. It's a 3-3-5 pattern, which means that you need to have 3 waves in wave A, like shown here, then you have 3 waves down for wave B, and then you need to have 5 waves up for wave C to complete the structure. So obviously this pullback was just a temporary pause with an ongoing trend seen as a wave 4. So if we take a look on a daily chart here, you can see this wave 1, wave 2, nice extended wave 3, and then we have seen a nice clear 3 wave decline for wave 4. Notice that market came back to this trend line that was previously broken actually in the middle of summer, and market actually tested the same trend line for a wave 4. Also, we did not retrace even for 38.2%. So back then I was quite sure that we are still only in a corrective phase and that turning aggressively bearish on euro would be too soon, simply because Elliott wave cycle was incomplete, and actually it still suggests that we could see higher prices for wave 5. If we draw a channel here, okay, then you can see that market send prices above this channel, and normally this is important indication that correction is completed and that we are headed higher for wave 5. So minimum expectations suggest that we will see a retest of that high here back from start of September. Okay, if we go to the 4-hour chart, you can see a nice bounce here that elaborated as a wave 1 and followed by a very slow and overlapping retracement, which also found a support at this broken channel. So this was actually perfect setup for wave 2. It can be even labeled as a wave B, but still, if you think that current rally will unfold only in 3 waves, okay, you need to see more upside, because wave C, okay, would normally be similar in distance compared to wave A. Okay, however, I think that this could result into something more aggressive buying to the upside. So ideally we are in wave 3 of wave 5. But for the short term, I think that 1.2 psychological level could be seen. Okay. At the same time, of course, dollar index remains then bearish. If we take a look here on a daily chart, you can see that we are still trading well below this trend line here, trend line resistance connected from start of the year. So actually this trend line is my guide to direction of a trend and still is to the downside. Okay, so I labeled this bounce as a wave 4 and now looking for more aggressive sell-off to continue into wave 5. And once we will have this wave 5 reaching a new low, that will be a time when I will start looking to the other side. And actually at that point there will be probably a lot of new traders, investors who will try to continue to look, or again turning bearish on dollar, but then this would be too late probably. Okay, so I'm looking for a break to a new low, actually a fake breakdown, and then turn to the upside. Now let's take a look on Aussie dollar. Commodity currencies were much weaker than euro or pound compared to dollar. So actually I'm not surprised now when euro dollar is turning up, when dollar index is turning up, to see also Aussie dollar bouncing higher. So ideally we will see a new high on euro dollar, dollar index falling to a new low to make wave 5, while commodity currencies, commodity pairs such as Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar could make just a temporary pullback, because recent 2-month sell-off was much stronger. Okay, so if we review the Aussie dollar charts, you can see very strong decline that has been in progress for the past few years actually, and then it bottomed here in 2016, which made from where we have seen a 3-wave rise. So this 3-wave rise was labeled as an ABC that retraced back to the area of a former wave 4. So we have fallen back down from that level impulsively, as I will show you here on the daily chart. You can see waves 1, 2, 3, 4 and wave 5, and I have been talking about this 7560 level as a potential support. Why? Because clearly I can count 5 subways down within wave 5, and also if I extend this trend line, okay, triangle, you can see that actually was retested. It was not a decisive breakout, so actually we can see a bounce, which means that we could see actually a reversal higher in 3 waves. If we go to 4-hour chart, there is also small ending diagonal that I also highlighted for our members right there, with a divergence here on the RSI. So everything was suggesting that new, more stronger bounce is coming, and especially I was looking for this turn after I recognized a completed fourth wave on euro dollar. Okay, so I'm seeing now a new corrective bounce here to the upside on Aussie dollar, where euro dollar, as I said, could continue higher into wave 5. However, Aussie dollar is not tradable here. Always when I trade, I try to look for opportunities against the US dollar to be, of course, in a stronger currency, and euro was doing much better in the past 12 months compared to Aussie. Okay, so definitely if I want to be short US dollar, I want to be against the euro. Okay, once this cycle will again turn into a stronger dollar position, stronger dollar sentiment, then Aussie dollar would be my candidate. So for now, I think that there could be a corrective phase coming on Aussie dollar, maybe even 1-2 week consolidation here, maybe even more. Okay, if I'm on the right track. I always have some backup plan. Okay, so let's say that I'm wrong and that euro dollar would fall significantly in the next few days, next week or so. Then obviously I want to be prepared on potential opportunities against the euro or against the similar correlated currencies such as pound. So I will take a look on cable because I think it's very interesting. On monthly chart, you can see that this was a very nice bounce back to this swing low from 2008, also back to this trend line resistance connected from 2014 highs. Okay, and if we take a look at lower time frame chart, you can see that actually here was the former wave 4 that current wave 4 retraced to and falling from. So actually ideally we will see continuation to the downside, and why I think we could continue lower is because this first decline was very strong. Okay, so I see it as a first leg of a new bearish cycle on pound. Also, if we take a look at the previous rise, you can see a lot of overlaps, and this overlapping price action is not impulsive. Okay, it's a motive wave, so ideally it was a ending diagonal placed in wave C position, and normally this ending diagonal in uptrend is very slow and actually with low momentum, low volume, but then momentum when pick up is usually sends market into the opposite direction very sharply. So this is why ending diagonal are very good for trades in the opposite direction, because moves can be really explosive. So I would not be surprised to see cable breaking down very strongly, and ideally this is wave 2 and we will see fall into wave 3. Okay, so as I said, if from any reason the next week or so dollar would turn very strongly, okay, against a lot of majors, then definitely cable would be on my primary list to look for shorts, okay, because I see a potential bearish pattern. But for now we still need to wait a little bit more. However, I'm tracking here our corrective bounce. As I said, ideally it's wave 2, and notice the difference between current rise from here and towards current levels and previous decline. Notice that this decline was very sharp, okay, and this is identification of a trend. It was bearish, okay, on this on this time frame. And normally, if you see this sharp fall from a new high or from a new low, it suggests that something is changing. And I think that this sharp fall is telling us that market is changing to bearish mode. However, nothing moves in a straight line. You will see pullbacks, you will see corrections that will try to confuse traders. So actually, what I see here is a very complex correction, but still in 3 waves. Okay, there's no way to count this recovery from October lows in 5-wave movement. So if it's not a 5-wave move, then it's a corrective move. If it's a corrective move, then you know where next impulsive move should unfold. And in our case, it should be in the same direction like a first impulsive reaction. So if this decline first impulse was down, then the next impulse should be also to the downside. So that's why I'm tracking potential bearish setups here. But as I said, I need to see some turn in the US dollar on other markets as well. Okay, so this one would be on my primary list for shorts. If I see maybe a decline, of course an impulsive decline in the next week or so back to 1.3150, then I would probably aggressively look for shorts on a pullback, because I think that once we break this trend line support, this market could fall very, very sharply. And also something else is important. If you see more complex and more longer correction in time, it suggests that the breakout, once will occur, will be even sharper. Okay, so keep in mind that. Now let's take a look also on crude oil. Now this market is closed today, but still I will make an update because I made a free video posted last Friday, I think. So actually what we see here is nice continuation higher. Either we are in wave 3 or wave C. That's not important at this stage because both legs needs to be subdivided by 5 smaller waves. So here I'm tracking wave 1, 2, and looks like that we are now in the middle of this extended blue wave 3. And last week I said that there is only a temporary pullback here, back to 55 level. It unfolded in 3 waves nicely. We crossed then this wave A swing high at 56.60, which was our bullish confirmation point, and now as you can see we are already approaching back to the high. So I think that we could see a resumption towards 59 levels, but then be aware of a new corrective drop, okay, because as I said several times, nothing moves in straight lines. So after every 5 waves movement, expect a corrective setback. Okay, and also the final market today will be actually Bitcoin. Now if you recall 2 weeks back or so, I said that market is at some very important level here around 8,000 and I was looking for a decline at least in 3 waves. We have seen aggressive sell-off actually from my levels, but it was just a temporary move, which I definitely did not expect to finish so fast. I was looking for something deeper and more complex in price. However, it's Bitcoin, as you know, it appears that he just loves any big corrections to be sharp and quick. Okay, so actually an updated wave count suggests that we are still pushing higher in wave 3. So you can see here on a monthly chart I'm looking for wave 3 to continue higher. Here on a daily chart is a substructure of this third wave, so you can see here wave 1, 2, wave 3, 4, and now we are in wave 5. So now we will look at the substructure of this latest red wave 5. Okay, it must be made by 5 waves. So here is for our chart, you can see waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are now in a wave 5. So also in a wave 5 of a even lesser degree, you also need 5 subwaves, okay? Because we know that Elliott wave is fractal. So if we take a look closely here, you can see that we have wave 1, then you have wave 2, you have an extended wave 3, and now this appears to be a temporary pause with an ongoing uptrend. So ideally we will see Bitcoin trading and breaking to the upside into wave 5 towards $8,800, maybe even towards $9,000 per one Bitcoin. Okay, so I'm looking for more gains. If I just make a quick label of this triangle here, so this was A, B, C, D, and wave E, and if I zoom this in a little bit, you have here obviously this trend line. So keep an eye on this trend line. If it's broken, then I would look for a new push higher. Now based on triangle measurement projections, you take a distance, the widest distance or lack of a triangle, which obviously was wave B. Okay, so take this distance, and once you have a breakout point, you project this distance from a breakout point, and you will came out with levels around $8,900. Okay, so this ideally market will test this level, maybe even reverse from it, or even push it to make an extended fifth wave. Okay, but what is really important is that triangle occur prior to the final wave within a larger trend. So from looking for at the structure from November of 11th, we are going to see a final leg up of this move. Okay, so after this final thrust out of a triangle, be aware that sooner or later market will turn and make a new setback. Either will be just a small free wave ABC decline that will take us back into this triangle range, okay, or it will be a larger sell-off. It depends how the structure will unfold, especially first leg from the highs. Okay, so for now, Bitcoin clearly remains bullish for intraday, for near-term near-term trend. For longer term, I still think that this wave 4 will occur sooner or later and will take prices much lower, maybe even for 30%, if not more. Okay, traders, thank you very much for your attention. Keep an eye on our updates, and also email that tomorrow on Friday we will have some special offer release for Black Friday sale promotions. Okay, thank you very much and have a good day. Bye.